Hello, I'm HomoArrosor. It is August 2026, and a definitive, historic threshold has just been crossed. Listen, the physical agent economy is absolutely no longer just a theoretical white paper, it's not a proof of concept, and it is certainly not some distant future promise. It is a live, fully operational system right now. Today, we are going to look at the undeniable reality of an entirely new macroeconomic loop. This is a space where artificial intelligence, advanced robotic hardware, and secure human verification flawlessly intersect to create something we've literally never seen before.
So let's get right into the official announcement that changed everything. On August 5th, 2026, the Fabric Foundation completely altered the trajectory of the robotics and AI industry. They announced Pi Network as the direct official payment partner for RoboPay. Think about what this actually means in practice. You can now request a delivery drone for your weekly groceries or deploy a security robot to monitor your property, and you pay for that direct physical labor instantly using Pi. The old era of buying incredibly expensive, high-maintenance metal hardware, that is officially over. Done. We are now simply renting physical intelligence straight from the cloud, and we only pay based on our immediate usage. Physical intelligence as a service is totally, completely realized.
Here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, we'll examine the value capture philosophy. Then, we'll map out the architecture of labor. Next, we'll dive deep into trust, compute, and the economic loop, before concluding with reality over illusion.
Part 1. Value Capture Philosophy, the Blueprint Revealed.
The massive integration we are witnessing today is not just some random lucky partnership. It is an absolute structural necessity. Since my previous precursor analysis back in January, I've been tracking these seemingly isolated technical events, and I can tell you they have meticulously converged. It's like watching a giant, complex puzzle clicking together perfectly. On the brain and network side, OpenMind is serving as the universal operating system, while Fabric acts as the ultimate coordination layer where robots and digital agents actually discover each other. Now, for compute and data, Pinode is stepping up to provide the heavy external processing power. V27 sets the rigid authority framework, and Axis is literally teaching the robots how to physically move in the real world. Binding all of this together, X402 functions as the absolute, non-negotiable standard for machine-to-machine payments. And right there, dead in the center of it all, RoboPay translates digital currency into actual physical action, strictly benchmarked against USDC. Every single official event this year has flawlessly slotted into this exact completed macro architecture.
To really grasp this, we have to look at the core of this entire structure, which originates directly from the value capture model detailed by Pi Network co-founder Nicholas Kokalis. When we contrast the old, outdated monopoly model with this new, live distribution model, the paradigm shift is just profound. In the obsolete monopoly model, giant megacorporations own absolutely everything. They own the robots, they hoard the data, and they control the compute. Because of that, all the productivity gains from AI are highly concentrated at the top. But this new model completely reverses that dynamic. Humans are the ones providing the verified identity. We provide the behavioral data, and we supply the edge compute via our nodes. The AI models learn directly from us. The robots then perform the physical labor, and RoboPay monetizes that labor directly via the blockchain. So what happens to the value? It is measured right there on-chain and distributed directly back to the human contributors who supplied the raw components of this massive AI production system in the first place. It's brilliant.
Part 2. The Architecture of Labor, Operating Systems and Action Gateways.
We are currently experiencing a monumental shift from closed, isolated corporate silos into wide-open robot continents. Right now, the traditional robotics industry is intensely fractured. Literally, every manufacturer builds closed, proprietary hardware and software ecosystems that refuse to talk to each other. OpenMind totally shatters this limitation. It acts as the literal android of robotics. It's a universal operating system allowing completely different pieces of hardware to operate smoothly under one single open software ecosystem. Working right alongside it is Fabric, which acts as the indispensable coordination layer. Fabric manages machine identity and ensures verifiable, secure cross-agent communication. Because of this, you no longer have to buy a specific company's expensive robot just to use their specific, limited features. Diverse machines from different makers now actively compete and seamlessly collaborate within one unified, massive service economy.
But here's the real question. How does a robot actually get paid to move? How does the digital money turn into a mechanical action? Well, RoboPay acts as the crucial action gateway for this, executing a highly precise 5-step chain reaction called pay to actuate. First, an AI agent assesses the real-world need for physical labor. Then, through discovery and pricing, the robot sets its specific service terms. This instantly triggers X402 verification. Now, X402 is the absolute standard protocol for machine-to-machine payment verification, and it happens completely without human intervention. Once the RoboPay gateway mathematically confirms the payment is locked in, it fires a cryptographic signal straight to the robot's local safety controller. This culminates in the final step: actual physical actuation. The robot moves. So you see, RoboPay isn't just a simple digital wallet on your phone. It is the literal mechanical trigger transforming AI from a digital chatbot into an active economic actor that hires real physical labor.
To fuel this massive, complex engine, we absolutely require a perfectly balanced tri-asset economy. This is composed of USDC, PI, and Robo. Why 3 assets? Because real-world robotic operating costs, things like local electricity, physical maintenance, insurance premiums, and daily wear and tear, those are all strictly anchored in traditional fiat currency. Therefore, physical labor pricing inherently experiences high volatility. Without a rock-solid, stable benchmark to buffer these real-world expenses, the mathematical model of operating physical hardware at scale becomes totally unsustainable. We need a system that perfectly divides the economic roles.
Let's meticulously break down this flawless role division between the 3 assets. First, we have USDC acting as the benchmark. It provides the crucial price anchor for clearing and settlement, effectively buffering the intense volatility of physical, real-world operating costs. Next, PI serves as the mass currency. This provides broad ecosystem access and represents actual human purchasing power. It is exactly how millions of verified humans purchase robot labor on demand, and crucially, how human compute and data providers are financially rewarded. Finally, we have Robo, which captures the internal protocol value. It is utilized purely for internal fabric utility, meaning things like staking, network fees, and verification rewards. They all lock together flawlessly. For example, when a robot service costs 10 USDC, the user simply pays the exact equivalent value in PI at the very moment of the transaction. The robot operator secures perfectly stable revenue, Fabric captures the network value via Robo, and the everyday user seamlessly taps into their existing PI balance. It's a beautifully balanced economic loop.
Part 3. Trust, Compute, and the Economic Loop. From V27 delegation to the 9-step economy. We have to be very clear here. Without highly specific operational layers for trust and authority, autonomous AI literally cannot legally or safely participate in the physical economy. It's a hard stop. But on July 29, 2026, Pi Network officially confirmed Protocol 27 as the final planned protocol modernization upgrade. V27 includes the CAP71 functional family, which perfectly acts as the authority delegation engine. The easiest way to think about this is like giving a trusted employee a corporate credit card, but with a remarkably strict, hard-coded spending limit. V27 allows us, the humans, to retain total, uncompromising legal accountability of our wallets while simultaneously granting our AI agents a smart contract tether. You instruct your AI agent with incredibly strict programmatic limits. You give it a defined budget, a heavily restricted geographic operating area, and a pre-approved list of tasks. V27 is the absolute foundational bedrock required for these autonomous smart accounts to even exist safely.
Next, we need to examine what I call the biological division of compute. Look, a physical robot simply cannot carry a massive supercomputing server farm inside its chassis. It would be way too heavy, it would consume too much battery, and it would overheat almost instantly. Therefore, the compute architecture is elegantly split. The local robot controller acts very much like a human spinal cord. It handles the millisecond reflexes, basic physical balance, and immediate urgent collision avoidance. But all the heavy lifting, the rich 3D simulation, the complex spatial inference, and the high-level task planning, that is entirely offloaded to the external cerebrum. And that external cerebrum is the global Pinode cloud. Following highly successful validation phases, Pinodes have absolutely proven they can process external AI image recognition tasks with just incredible speed and reliability. They are no longer just sitting there maintaining a ledger, they are actively, literally processing the thoughts of the entire robotic economy.
And this external cerebrum isn't theoretical. It is rapidly moving into full production reality, and the momentum is just accelerating. We initially saw Phase 1 with the initial proof of concept, which successfully validated the baseline compute capability. Then, Phase 2 arrived with the solo host beta, securely enabling much broader ecosystem applications. But right now we are advancing directly into Phase 3, the top 100 Vanguard. This live deployment utilizes the top roughly 100 highest performing, most stable Pi nodes globally for production-grade third-party AI compute tasks. And these nodes are generating real, tangible Pi rewards for their operators. The undeniable fact of the matter is that Pi nodes have successfully evolved into live, revenue-generating compute assets, entirely powering the physical AI revolution.
Yet here is a massive bottleneck in robotics. Even with practically limitless compute power, a robot cannot learn to properly clean a room or fold a shirt simply by reading internet text. In fact, mapping the complex, physical trajectory of opening a strange door is vastly harder for an AI than beating a grandmaster at chess. It requires real, high-quality human behavioral trajectories. Enter Axis. Axis is the system that converts human teleoperation directly into actionable robot training data. They've already logged over 1.5 million successful trajectories. But here is the game changer. By connecting Axis with Pi Sign-In and Pi Verify, they instantly unlock a potential pool of over 18 million fully KYC-verified human tutors. Humans simply perform tasks in a highly intuitive browser simulation. They log the physical movement, and they directly monetize their physical know-how as a massively valuable data asset. We are literally acting as the robot tutors.
When you properly combine human identity, delegated authority, and machine identity, you forge an absolutely unshakable chain of trust. In a multi-agent physical economy where robots are moving around in our cities, if a robot interacts with the real world, whether it accidentally damages a piece of property or completes a complex task perfectly, you absolutely must have an absolute cryptographically secure audit trail. Accountability is everything.
Let's expand on how these three interlocking rings guarantee that accountability. Ring 1 is human identity. Through Pi Verify and stringent KYC protocols, every single economic action anchors firmly to a legally accountable human owner. There are no anonymous ghost operators. Ring 2 is delegated authority via the V27 protocol we discussed. This is where that verified human uses a secure smart account to empower their digital AI agent to act, but only within incredibly strict, hard-coded limits. Finally, Ring 3 is machine identity via Fabric. This ring strictly validates that the physical robot's hardware is genuine and verifies its proof of work is totally legitimate before the AI agent even hires it. This synthesis guarantees a completely unbroken, verifiable chain of accountability that traces backward through the complex network directly to one verified human being.
So when we zoom out, we can view this completely vertically integrated stack, much like building the foundation of a massive skyscraper. At the very bedrock, we have the identity layer, where Pi KYC and Pi Verify establish absolute human truth. Pouring directly over that is the data layer, which is powered by Axis, driving the essential human-to-robot training pipelines. Moving up, we hit the compute layer, leveraging the global network of Pi nodes for decentralized intelligence processing. Above that, the OS and network layer utilizes OpenMind and Fabric for seamless hardware coordination across different brands. Then the action layer steps in, operating via RoboPay to securely execute those pay-to-actuate commands in the real world. The authority layer above that is tightly secured by the V27 protocol for safe, bounded delegation. And finally, at the very top penthouse, the value layer settles the transactions and rewards the entire underlying stack using Pi, USDC, and ROBO. And let me be clear, every single one of these layers is now confirmed and fully operational.
All of these foundational layers completely culminate in the ultimate architectural achievement, the perfect economic loop. This is it. This is a completely closed, flawlessly functional cycle where human input continuously translates into real robotic labor, which generates immense, tangible, real-world value. And the best part? That value flows directly and transparently back to the human contributors.
Let's take a highly detailed journey through this live macroeconomy, step by granular step, so you can truly grasp the vast scale of what has been built here. Step 1 is the input phase. Verified humans enter the ecosystem securely via Pi KYC. Once inside, they use the Axis platform to actively convert their everyday physical know-how into logged, highly valuable behavioral data. Step 2 brings us to processing. That raw human data immediately hits the massive Pi node network, where thousands of decentralized cerebrums rapidly refine it into actionable intelligence. That intelligence then routes seamlessly and efficiently through OpenMind's universal operating system. Step 3 is all about action. Humans use the V27 protocol to confidently grant authority to their digital AI agents. These agents then evaluate real-world needs and dynamically purchase physical labor right through the RoboPay gateway. And finally, step 4 is the reward. The robotic services perfectly execute their physical tasks, and the payments settle efficiently against the stable USDC benchmark. The economic value generated from that physical labor is instantly distributed on-chain via Robo and PI. This tangibly and significantly rewards the everyday humans who provided the data and compute, which heavily incentivizes them to provide even more data and even more compute, endlessly accelerating the entire cycle all over again. It is a breathtaking, flawless economic engine.
Part 4. Reality over illusion. Facts versus immediate next steps.
As we stand back and look at the sheer operational scale of this engine, we must strictly differentiate between the undeniable facts of what exists today in August 2026 and the logical deployments that are rolling out next. Let's look at the confirmed facts. Fact: Pi Ventures officially invested in OpenMind and Axis. Fact: The Node AI proof of concept is fully complete and validated. Fact: Circle and OpenMind have successfully demonstrated live USDC X402 payments. Fact: V27 is the confirmed final protocol upgrade. And fact: Pi is the official integrated RoboPay payment partner. Contrast these massive achievements against the immediate next steps on the horizon. We are now eagerly awaiting the live, production deployment of the top 100 Pi nodes for paid external compute, the direct Pi sign-in integration on the Axis platform, and the fully automated smart contract value distribution. The core engine parts are fully built and they are proven. They are now simply being connected for unprecedented mass consumer scale.
Because of all this, it is absolutely essential to cut through the illusion propagated by those who try to judge this vast, functioning macroeconomic engine solely by looking at current day-to-day token pricing. Price fluctuations absolutely do not invalidate structural architecture. The profound reality, the actual fact on the ground, is that humans, AI agents, and physical robots are structurally and legally integrated right now to hire, collaborate, and transact with one another. The massive foundation is built. The revolutionary value capture model is fully realized. Make no mistake. When the recurring, daily transactions of millions of robotic services begin continuously settling on this architecture, value will dictate price, not the other way around.
We are no longer mere spectators sitting on the sidelines, hopelessly watching giant tech corporations monopolize the future of artificial intelligence. Through your verified identity, through your node compute power, and through your behavioral data, you are literally the foundational layer of this physical AI revolution. The perfect economic loop is closed. The tools to capture the massive generating value of robotic labor are entirely, firmly in your hands. The system is live today. The only question left to ask yourself is, are you ready to claim your rightful place in the physical agent economy?